Foreclosure is the culminating event of a legal process. This process has multiple steps that take place over a specific timeline. This lesson presents the steps relevant to investors, realtors, and homeowners. There are a few extra events in the process that are not shown. These steps are mainly relevant only to foreclosure trustees and attorneys. Foreclosure starts with the event of default. The date of default is the date on which the homeowner officially misses a payment. This triggers the foreclosure process. At this point, the creditor, typically a bank, initiates collections. This is what is known as the collections stage. With institutional creditors, such as banks, the collections stage lasts typically between 30 and 90 days. During the collection stage, the creditor typically makes a significant effort to help the property owner get current with payments. If there is no progress, the creditor will start threatening with foreclosure. Once the bank determines that foreclosure may be needed, the bank will elect a successor trustee. We will refer to the successor trustee as the trustee. The first action the trustee will take is to file a notice of default, or notice of trustee sale, at the county where the property is located. At this point, the default becomes public record and the trustee officially initiates the process of foreclosure. Once the notice of default has been recorded, the property will enter what is known as the pre-foreclosure stage. In Oregon, the pre-foreclosure stage takes a minimum of 120 days. Usually, trustees pad that minimum time with an additional 10 to 20 days to ensure that there is plenty of time. The trustee will then notify the owner that foreclosure has been initiated. If the property is a rental, the tenants will also be notified. The document used will be a Notice of Trustee Sale or Notice of Default and Election to Sell. The first attempt to notify the owner and tenants will typically be by certified mail. If this is not possible, the owner and/or tenants will be notified personally. If they are not present, the notice will be pasted to the main access to the property, typically on the front door. The trustee will then notify all the other creditors collateralized by the property. This will be by certified mail. Large institutional investors, such as banks, are usually aware of foreclosure through paid services. The Notice of Trustee Sale establishes the foreclosure auction date and time. The last day for the property owner to reinitiate the defaulted loan is 5 days prior to the auction date. Within those 5 days prior to the auction sale date, the bank is no longer required by law to allow loan reinstatement by the owner. Once in this period, the creditor may or may not allow reinstatement. At this point, the creditor typically compels the property owner to pay off the loan in full. The next significant event in the foreclosure process is the publication stage. In Oregon, it is mandatory to publish a Notice of Trustee Sale a minimum of 4 times. The fourth Notice of Trustee Sale publication must be a minimum of 20 days prior to the auction date. The third Notice of Trustee Sale publication must be 7 days prior. The second Notice of Trustee Sale publication must be 7 days prior. The first Notice of Trustee Sale publication must be 7 days prior. The purpose of the publication stage is to notify all parties with an interest in the property and the public at large. Notice of Trustee Sales can be published in any newspaper of major circulation in the county where the property is located. Typically, legal and business newspapers are preferred. The typical watershed event is the arrival of the 16th day prior to the auction date. This is the midpoint of the process. With less than 60 days to resolve the pending foreclosure, time is no longer on the side of the owner. Chances to resolve a pending foreclosure are higher with more than 60 days before auction. Chances to resolve a pending foreclosure are lower with less than 60 days before auction. With less time available, options start diminishing. If the owner reinstates the loan or arranges a forbearance with the creditor, the foreclosure will be rescinded. If not, the property will be auctioned. On the auction date, the property will be sold to the highest bidder. The highest bidder will need to pay 100% cash for the property if the bid is accepted. In exchange for the cash, the bidder will obtain an affidavit of sales or a sales receipt from the trustee. If no one buys the property will be reverted to the foreclosing creditor. At this point, the highest bidder is not yet the new property owner. The trustee has a maximum of 10 days to confirm the validity of the sale. Foreclosure sales are often nullified by bankruptcies, reinstatements, full payoffs, etc. As soon as the validity of the sale is confirmed, the highest bidder will obtain a trustee's deed and therefore become the new owner. Very few sales are undone. If the property is vacant, the new owner can take possession of the property as soon as possible. If the previous owner is still occupying the property, the new owner can't take any action until 10 days after the auction. The maximum time between a successful sale and the new owner's right to possession is 10 days. The new owner will start an eviction if after 10 days the previous owners still occupy the property.